Hi, if you like the video, please remember to subscribe. Hi, I'm Rob from robnophoto.com, and in today's video we're going to be exploring which Canon lens is best for recording your YouTube videos. Quick kind of summary of the setup we've got here today, because the whole idea of this is you actually obviously watch this video. If you're watching it on YouTube, go down into the corner where it has the settings, set it to 1080p so it's firing on full resolution, do it full screen so you can really have a look at the different quality you get from the different lenses, and maybe that'll help you choose whether you should be using a different lens to record your podcasts or your video casts, or whether you should really be happy with what you've got and don't worry about buying anything else. So I'm recording this on my Canon EOS 600D, or T3i as it's known in America. It's currently got the 18-55 IS lens on there. IS is turned off because it's on a tripod. It's in manual focus mode, and hopefully I've kind of focused somewhere on my face, so it should be okay. I've got a light just there. Now it's a daylight balance bulb, but it's just a bare bulb, so it's quite hard light that's coming off that. And I've got an LED ring light on the top of the camera, just again to fill everything up. In fact, here's a mirror. Let's see if you can kind of see. So there's my laptop there. There's the 600D with the ring light. It's not round the lens, it's actually just above the lens, so it makes it easy for changing the lenses over. And there, he says, trying to find it, where's the other light? And just to the, there you go, that's the bare bulb. It's a daylight balanced fluorescent bulb. So that's the idea, because one of the problems you have is, when you start recording videos with your digital SLR, it can be quite complicated. Because you've got to do things like set the focus up manually and then get it right, and if you're doing it by yourself, this can be really tricky. It can take time, and it's hard to kind of get a setup that you're really happy with. I know I struggle with it a lot, and one of the things I'll be working on over the next few months is the sound quality as well of these videos, because I'm using the built-in mic on the 600D, which isn't the best. So I'd rather, like to try out like lavalier sort of lapel mics, or a shotgun mic may be better for the top of the camera. But there's lots of different things to think about with that. So when it comes to glass and the lens I should be using, again, I've kind of been wondering, is the 18-55, which is on the lens at the moment, Canon's kit lens, is that good enough for videos? Or will I, benefit from recording my videos on maybe the 40mm f2.8 Canon lens, or the 50mm f1.8 sort of nifty 50 lenses as well. And so I thought, well, the best way to do it would be to record a video using all the different lenses, so you can kind of have a look at them. Now remember, at the moment the camera is set up and it's shooting in automatic mode, so it's choosing the aperture that it uses. All I've said is shoot the video at 1080p at 24 frames a second. It's got auto ISO on everything like that, so I'm not controlling the aperture at all. And one of the things we'll explore in this video as well is shooting in manual mode with video, and it is actually pretty easy to do, and just to see if we can get a different look. Because if you've watched any of my videos, you know that I've kind of struggled an awful lot with video and audio quality over the years, and recently got the Logitech C920 webcam, which is all right, but when you're shooting at the high resolutions, you have problems with the lip sync, which you don't get with the 600D T3i. So there we go. So have a good look at the quality of this. Look at it full screen. This is the 600D with the 18-55 IS lens on it. Again, it's on a tripod, so IS is turned off. In automatic mode, I have taken a custom white balance to try and take account of these lights, because they're probably, although they're meant to be daylight balance, you always get slight variations, just to try and get the colours reasonably okay. So what we'll do now is I'll switch the lenses out, and we'll go over to the Canon 40mm f2.8 pancake lens, and we can see what the difference is there. Okay, so there we go. So I've got the Canon EF 40mm f2.8 pancake lens on the camera now, and the first thing you probably noticed is that the framing's kind of changed. I've tried to keep it similar, but I think so what I've had to do is move the camera back a long way, so you'll probably also find the audio's quieter, or will sound maybe a little bit more strained, because I'm having to to shout a bit more because I'm worried the audio is going to be a bit quieter. Now, also there's the problem with the fact that I can't now reach and touch the camera from where I'm sitting. So to check the focus is quite difficult. I've just kind of guessed where the focal plane is by focusing on the back of my chair, but I could be slightly out. What I need to do is actually get something that I could sit on the chair, so I don't know, like a lamp or something, so it's in the same focal plane as my face, so I could then focus it manually, you know, set it and do it that way. So that's a bit of a pain. The whole camera's had to go back probably, I don't know, about sort of 2 feet to 3 feet. What you do find though is that although it's really convenient to have your 18-55, the fact that you can shoot at 18-55, get the camera very, very close for you, so you know that isn't particularly flattering. And this distance, I don't know, maybe it's more flattering. I think what I probably need to do is raise the camera up a little bit, because I normally tend to like looking up a little bit, so you don't get quite so much of my double chin. So this is the EF 40mm 2.8. Again, I've got my light here. In fact, let's dig the mirror out again so you can kind of see what's going on. So the camera's a lot further back, and you've probably noticed straight away that I've forgotten to turn the ring light on. So let's go back and turn that on. And again, because I'm working in automatic mode, hopefully, there we go. I should be a little bit more lit now. So let's see. So there's the 600D with the ring light on top of it. You know, quite a long way away. My kind of other fill light is just there. Now you may well be saying, well, Rob, come on, you don't spend much money on your setups, do you? Well, that's the whole point. I'm kind of doing everything on a budget here, and the idea is that it's very run and gun. You know, I don't have much time either. You know, I'm a full-time working guy. You know, I tend to work 6 days a week. So when I've got a spare couple of hours, I want to set up my light, set up my camera, and just shoot. If this does look okay, I quite like this setup because the video camera is on a tripod, which is great, so it's very, very stable. Hopefully it should be pretty level as well. And the 2.8 obviously being a very fast lens. Again, I'm in fully automatic mode, so I don't know what aperture it's running at. Should be pretty good and give a nice rendition. So there we go, that's the 40mm 2.8. Look at it big, blow it up, look at it full screen. Tell me what you think, and then what we'll do now is we'll go over to the where is it? We'll go over to the nifty 50, the 50-1.8, and you know, see what that looks like. Excuse me, we'll have a quick drink. Okay, so we've got the Canon EF 50mm f1.8 on the 600D T3i now. So it's the nifty 50, available for under $100. The one I've got on there right now is the Mark 1 metal mount version. Pick it up cheap from a car boot sale, what can I say? But you know, the plastic mount version, I don't think there really is any difference in quality. One of the advantages actually of the 50mm 1.8 Mark 1 is the fact that it does have a distance scaling, so you could kind of estimate what your focus and distance is. However, the camera is now an awful long way away, and again, I've forgotten to turn the ring light on, so let's turn that on to give it some fill. In fact, at this distance, I don't really know if that LED ring light is going to have any effect at all. So I don't know, it's probably only just this light here. So if we bring up the mirror again, there's the 600D, you can just see the light on top of it in the distance. There's my little fill light. I couldn't really get the camera any further away. It's the full width of our dining room. It was again, I've had to guess the focusing. Very tricky to do. I'm a long way away from that microphone, so I guess I'm probably quite quiet. So something like a lapel mic with a wire, or a shotgun mic would probably would really need to do that. I did notice when I was trying to focus it, the depth of field seemed to be very, very small. So a bit of a challenge. Don't know whether don't know how sharp I'm going to be, but again, this is all about kind of video quality, and if this looks good when you look at it 1080p in the settings on YouTube and full screen, and it looks better than the 18-55, then you know, why not? Looking at the little kind of monitor, you know, with the 600D T3i, you can flip the screen around and look at it. It looks like a very pleasing kind of, you know, my head is here and my shoulders are here. You can still see my hands when I'm prevaricating and doing all this sort of business. Again, the camera needs to be higher, I think, so that you can see more of, you know, less of this maybe. But if this looks okay and it sounds okay, then and it's much better than the 18 to 55. This could be an option, but it is very awkward, the fact that the camera is so far away and I cannot reach up to adjust it, to turn it off, to adjust the angle or anything like that. I'm constantly setting it up and coming back round. Obviously you've got an assistant to help you. That could be really easy. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to leave the 50mm on, but we're going to go to manual mode on the video, and I'm going to set it so the depth of field, so the aperture is maximum. But we'll go to f1.8. So I've got really small depth of field, and I'll try and get it focused, and we'll see if the look of the video changes significantly. So let's go to manual mode and see what happens. Okay, so here we go. So we've got the 50mm f1.8 nifty 50 on the 600D T300i. I've gone over to manual exposure mode on the movie shooting, which is incredibly easy. You just set it to go to the menu when you're in movie mode, set the exposure to manual, and then you press, and I have to do a video about this, aren't I? You press one of the buttons on the back, the bottom, which one do you press? You press the exposure compensation button, and you get your line coming up, just like you're shooting in manual. And then what you want to do, the rules of thumb, if you're shooting at 25 or 24 frames a second, you want to double that to get your shutter speed, so 50 frames a second. And then I dialed in the aperture to f1.8. I've got the ISO set to auto, and so it automatically adjusts. I mean, that's the beauty of auto ISO, to give an acceptable exposure. I might be a little bit hot, I might be a little bit dark, but for recording videos to YouTube, I'm sure it's good enough. So the question is now, what are you seeing? I mean, does it look good? I mean, the camera's an awful long way away. Again, we know that with the mirror, we can see it's all the way over there. I've remembered to put the ring light on this time. But I tell you what, I mean, you've seen this better than I have at this point, because I haven't reviewed any of the video. But watching back the 50.18 video, even on the small screen on the T3i 600D, I tell you what, it looked pretty good. Obviously the problem I think is going to be this audio, because I'm so far away. I'm probably 5 or 6 feet away from the camera to get this kind of shot, which means that I really need a shotgun mic on the top of the camera, so that's really aimed at my face, or I need a lapel mic to bring it that way. So there we go, that's the 50.18 in manual mode, shooting 24 frames a second at 1080p. Yeah, look at it big. What do you think? Is it good? Is it better than the 1855? Is it better than the 40? But what we're going to do now is we're going to nip straight into the 40 f2.8. So the camera's going to get closer, and again I'll do it f2.8 to minimise the depth of field to get that look. Oh, one thing I have been doing actually is I brought a light stand down. I've been sitting this on my seat so I can focus manually on that. So hopefully my face should be in focus, and the background, the idea of the background, should be out of focus, and like the hand should be out of focus, so you kind of get that more professional look. So let's flick over now to the 40mm f2.8 pancake lens. Okay, so we're back to the Canon EF 40mm f2.8 on the 600D T3i. With this one, again, we're shooting at f2.8 to try and minimize the depth of field, so the background hopefully will blur out. Again, at this point I've got no idea if it looks any different to the footage that I shot with the 40mm earlier on automatic mode. I suppose because I'm shooting inside with the minimal lights, it could have made that the camera may well have been shooting wide open anyway, so we shouldn't be able to, maybe there isn't much difference at all. The camera again is probably 2 to 3 feet closer, so hopefully my audio will be a little bit better, a little bit louder, because again I'm using the built-in mic on the 600D T3i, which I know probably isn't the best thing in the world, but at the moment, until I get a lapel mic or a some sort of shotgun mic, that's what we're gonna have. I still can't reach the camera, but I know looking at the playback, it did look quite pleasing. So I guess, it's up to you. What do you think when you look at it? What I will do actually is at the end of the video, after I've edited it and uploaded it to YouTube and had a look at it, in the comments at the bottom, underneath the screen where you have the title, I'll kind of probably put my thoughts about which I thought is the best footage, whether it be the 18 to 55 or the 40mm f2.8 pancake lens, or the 50 1.8, and whether it was better to go with it in manual mode to minimise that depth of field, or whether it was best just to go in automatic. So that's the 40mm 2.8. Look at it big, look at it 1080p, and kind of decide for yourself whether you think that's any better. And what we'll do now is we'll flick over back to the trusty 18 to 55 to kind of summarise the video, and maybe we'll flick back to what I think is probably going to be my favourite of the lenses. So let's go to the 18 to 55. Okay, so we're back with the 18 to 55. We're shooting in manual mode. I've set it to f3.5, which is the widest aperture. It's at 18 millimeters. So we should have. We kind of the problem with the depth of field when you're doing that with the lens is that at its widest setting with the zoom, that's when the depth of field appears to be the biggest anyway. And an f3.5 isn't that fast as well, so you should find that the background just isn't quite as out of focus and nicely blurred as it was with the 51.8. Sorry, with the what have I got here? 51.8 or the 40mm f2.8. Obviously, the beauty though of shooting with the 18 to 55 is it's a kit lens. You probably got it with your camera, so you don't have to spend any more money. I can reach out and I can touch the camera. I can adjust the zoom incredibly easy. I can adjust the focus. I can, when you're previewing stuff, I can. One of the things that the 600D T3i likes to do, it likes to turn stuff off after about a minute. You can probably change that, but I haven't delved into the settings yet. I can see the little screen on the side much better like that, so I can judge things like composition and whether everything's straight or not. And what I thought I'd also add at this point as well is that when you're watching this on YouTube, how I've what I do to edit the video. And again, my whole sort of ethos behind all of these, creating these videos, is I need to be able to create them quickly and upload them quickly, and very cheaply as well. So I use Windows Movie Maker. Is it 2013 version? The version that ships with Windows 8, because it's nice and easy to use. It's not very complicated. All you do is you kind of drop your videos in, add your titles, you can trim the clips, you can split them, you can get rid of bits, you can add credits to the end, you can add photos and stuff like that. I mean, that's about it. You can't really do anything else, but you can do transitions and stuff, which I tend to shy away from because I've been burnt in the past with photo editing software, and you put fades in and you end up losing lip sync. Maybe it's just me, maybe it's okay. In fact, I may well put some fades into this video. So that's the way I do it. So that's probably why the video quality isn't as brilliant as it could be, because I guess probably the compression software that Windows uses in their free Windows Movie Maker isn't as powerful as what you would get with something like Adobe Premiere Elements or Premiere or After Effects or anything like that. But there we go. So we've kind of been through the three Canon budget lenses. We've got the 18 to 55 that we're looking at now. We've had a look at the 40mm f2.8 in automatic and manual mode when it's shooting at 2.8, and we've had a look at the 50 f1.8, the nifty 50, the cheapest of all the aftermarket lenses apart from the kit lens. You know, you can pick one of these babies up for less than £100 or $100 on Amazon or eBay or anywhere else. So I guess the final thing comes down to you. You've watched the video now, you've seen it, you know, go backwards and forwards and see which lens, which combination you like the best. Try and ignore things like me and the light and the white balance and all this sort of stuff, and maybe try and concentrate just on the quality. And if you've got a Canon dSLR, this may be helping you doing that. So as I said, I haven't reviewed any of this video at full screen yet because everything's still on my camera, but what I'm going to do now is I'm going to flick back to the 50. I'm going to move the camera back, I'm going to flick back to the 50, and we'll just finish off with the 50 just to give us, I'll do just a little bit of a test video, because I think looking at the back of the camera, watching the videos on that was the most impressive footage of all. So there we go, but you know, the final decision obviously would be down to you. Okay, so we're back with the 51.8. I don't know if it is the best looking one. All I know is when I was looking at the video on the back of the camera, the 51.8 looked like you could see my face was nice and in focus, and the background was really nice and nicely blurred. And again, I've got the 600D T3i. It's in manual video mode, so I've set the shutter speed to a 50th of a second. I've set the aperture to f1.8, which is the maximum aperture on the Nifty 50, and the camera's sorting out the exposure really with auto ISO. I've got a LED ring light on top of the camera, and I've got a daylight balance bulb here. Again, it's just a bare bulb, so it's very hard light, and I've got light coming through the window, but hopefully everything should be fairly daylight balanced. So I should, fingers crossed, have fairly neutral skin tones. I'm a bit worried that the volume isn't going to be loud enough because I'm shouting across the room towards the microphone, so the built-in gain is probably ramping it up. But I think this probably might be the best option for really quality, good video to do YouTube videos if you've got enough space, because we're a long way away from the camera, and you're relatively in the same house, or your neighbours don't mind you shouting at your camera, or why not invest in something like a shotgun mic or a lapel mic to improve that, something good like the Rode VideoMic Pro, or some equivalent like that. So as to kind of finish off, to really give it like a working test, what I want to do is just want to talk to you about this little camera that I picked up today from the car boot sale. This is a pocket ensign folding camera from the 1920s, maybe the 1930s. Let me close it up so you can see how small it goes. You may well have already seen, I have got a video on my YouTube stream about the folding vest camera from Kodak that was from 1917 to 1918. Very exciting. Now, what's exciting for me when I saw this camera at the car boot sale was the fact that it's an ensign, so it's ENSIGN, which was an English camera make that I'd never seen before at the car boot sale. It looked like it was in good nick. The lady said it worked, but again, you don't know. It came with the case, came with, how cool is this? The instruction booklet. So I'll be scanning this and then getting it over to Mike Buctus if he hasn't got it already, so he can have it on his manual site. And the lady only wanted £5 for it, so I thought happy day. So as you can see, it's a little pocket camera, a vest, and then what you do is you pop it open. It's got a film in it at the moment, so I'm not going to open the back. You kind of fold that down, it clicks into place. You gently pull out the bellows, and it's called an all focus, an all distance one, because there's only two distance settings. There's views, so landscapes and everything, and then you've got portraits where you pull it forward a little bit more. It's got the shutter button just on the right here. You look down through the viewfinder, kind of down through there, and then it's got a square finder, so that if you want to go sideways, you look through that bit. And most importantly of all, it takes 120 film, which I think is amazing. So there aren't that many British camera manufacturers. Well, there never were that many. I know lots of the Kodaks were manufactured in the UK, obviously owned by Eastman Kodak from America, where this is a British camera. So I've already taken sort of 3 shots with it. I can't wait to see how they turn out. It's very simple as well. As I say, there's no focusing involved apart from portrait or landscape. So you could say, I guess it's zone focusing. And then there's 3 shutter speeds. Small, which they recommend if you just use it in bulb mode. Medium, which they basically recommend for everything outside, and large, which they recommend for if it's a bit overcast. And the shutter speed is meant to be around about a 30th of a second. But what a cool little camera. Seems in very good condition. I'm sure there's plenty of light leaks on it, but we'll see as soon as I finish the roll. I think it takes about 8 shots on a roll of 120, so it shouldn't take too long. I'm using Ilford FP125 I think on it, expired film, so I'll develop that and see how it looks. And then when you want to fold it away, all you do is there's a little lever you press on the side, and you gently push that back into there, gently press down on these bits, flick that up, it snaps, and it's all done. So there we go. What do you think? Are you going to stick with your 18 to 55 videos? Are you going to go, if you've already got one, maybe you really like the look of the f2.8 40mm Canon EF lens, or maybe you were going to buy it anyway for your still photography, or is the lens that's on the camera right now, the 50mm 1.8, the Nifty 50, does that appeal to you? My name's Rob from robnunphoto.com. I'd love it if you could share your comments down below in YouTube. I'd love it again if you've found this, subscribe to the stream, and thanks for watching.